Okay guys, today we are going to look at You Need a Budget. We are going to Google You Need a Budget. There it is. And we're also going to be trying out the 34-day free trial. You Need a Budget recently updated, and this is the newer version that we're looking at. So it'll ask me to create an account. I've already done that in another window, so I'm going to close out of here, and this is the screen you will get when you have correctly filled in your information and signed up. So this is just some basic information. It's telling you on how awesome budgeting is and how you can create it into categories. So we're just going to go from there. So we are now at the welcome screen, and we're going to create a new budget. We're going to call it the Bravely Content budget, and this all looks fine to me. What'll happen is it'll pre-fill in some rows that I can decide how much I want to budget there. So what I'm going to do is fill in the information. Now the software is $50 for a year or $5 a month if you buy it monthly. So it is no longer really free. Okay, and on the top you can see how it's telling me that clearly I need to have some income if I want to spend that money. So we are going to add an account. We'll call this I'm going to pick a bank. We'll call it the BOA account. Now it's going to be checking because it's primarily going to deal with the transactions here. I'm not going to use bank login to track or to import transactions. Instead, we're going to have to fill in a balance. We'll just say that there's 2,500 in there. Okay, and then we can also have other accounts too. It doesn't just have to be one. So maybe we'll have the wife's bank account, and it'll be an investment account. I'll just say that she has $5,000 in there. Okay, so let's go back to the budget, and here we are. So you can see that it plugged in. Okay, he has 2,500 as a checking account, and he wants to spend 2,100 in February. Therefore, he has 400 left to budget. All right, no problem there. So at this point, you'll also notice that there's the getting started, task complete section. So now I need to add my primary account. Now if I click on here, it tells me how to add accounts, but I've already done that. So you can also personalize the categories, set up a goal, schedule a transaction, all this good stuff. Okay. So in this case, though, we are going to let's create a goal. Let's say that let's say for the student loan, for a goal, I have a few choices. I can have a target category balanced, target due date, or category balance by date, or a monthly funding goal. Let's say that I want to have a larger amount per month. So that tells me, hey, I'm pretty close to having that 500 a month, but I'm not quite there yet. All right, guys, time for transactions. So let's go ahead and go to all accounts, and we're going to add a transaction. Now I can select which account it's coming from. In this case, we're going to do the BOA account because that's what does the regular checking. I can select if it's a repeating. What's nice about this is if I have a direct like bill pay going on, I don't have to every month enter, okay, I paid rent. It just happens automatically. It's kind of convenient. The payee you select if you're doing a transfer. So we're not going to select that in this case. We're going to do rent, and we're going to state the amount, and boom, it's there. Now, what I need to do here is actually clear the transaction, because you can see how it's uncleared. It's kind of in a pending state. So let's go ahead and clear that. Now, if I had this as a future date, it would not work. It would tell me, hey, I can't clear it, that's in the future. Now you also see the future next month rent obligation. It hasn't happened yet, but it's there, so I don't need to recreate it. So that's pretty nice. Let's also, once again, we'll select the BOA account. Yep, it's going to be a non-paying and it's not a transfer, so we're just going to skip that. And we're going to do a split. So you can see the multiple rows that it created. Let's say that I have my electricity and water through this same company. I'm going to go ahead and specify my outflows. Outflows is just how much you're paying someone. So the money leaving the account versus the account receiving it, which is inflow. All right, looks good. We'll add a memo. Okay, and we have an error in the transaction values. So let's see if it was my exclamation marks. Okay, it was not. Oh, you know what? I think I have to have that match. Yeah. So that's handy to know. I actually, when I do a split, the outflow needs to equal each individual item. Otherwise, it gives me a problem. So let's go ahead and clear it, and you'll notice up there it has cleared. What if we got paid? Well, let's once again keep that the same. We're not going to do a transfer, and we are going to do an inflow. Now, I hadn't budgeted that yet, so it reflected it. So let's say I got paid $2,000. We'll call it payday. We could also, if we wanted to, make this a repeating event, which also could be valuable. Hopefully you would still be checking your direct deposits or checks, but we're just going to show that feature. And once again, you can see that it added the future event. So you see payday in there. I can't mark it as cleared because I haven't received it yet. That makes sense. So I'm going to mark that as cleared, and there you go. So what's nice is if I select, let's say I go to the BOA account, I can reconcile. So let's say, so it's saying that the working balance should be $3,300. Let's say I look at my bank account since I did not connect them, and that's accurate. I would say yes, and it's now reconciled. So that's nice. All right. Okay, now we're going to see how this has affected our budget. Let's click over here. And what do you know? The transactions have affected the availability. You can see the activity has been filled in, and the available has changed. That's pretty convenient. Okay, what if we wanted to add another category? Let's say I have a painting business. And let's say that these immediate obligations, or let's hide the true expenses. Let's say I want to just hide those. I can do it with just a simple click, and it's boop, it's gone. So I don't have anything in that category right now, so I need to actually fill those in. So let's call it paint. That seems pretty appropriate. You would think a painting business would have paint and canvas and lots of formerly white shirts. And I can add some budgeting to that. Let's say the white shirts is my biggest expense. And it fills in and updates the amount to be budgeted. Now ideally the amount to be budgeted would be 0 because I want to have it completely allocated. So if this were happening in reality, I would probably put this into a savings account. That's a emergency fund. But this is just an example. So I can also just go back and add the transactions showing that my painting business has bought what's needed. So that's pretty nice. Okay, the last thing we're just going to look at is the settings. So you click on that down arrow, and I can do make a fresh start if I want to just pretty much have this be like a fresh account. Or I can do budget settings, which if you remember, that was the initial screen we hit. That's just to get you started. There's also user guides. I can go to my account or get help. And when I'm done, just sign out. Always a good idea to do that. You never know if someone will borrow your computer. This is my subscription. I haven't, I'm just on trial. I can change the email account, the password, or delete the account. Please do not delete your friend's account. That would be very mean. There's also the app. So when you receive the email, which is created once you set up your account, it sends links to an app that you can install on your smartphone for iOS or Android. This guide isn't covering that. It's just covering the what it looks like on the web. And yeah, we're not going to dive into the app. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope this has been helpful, and have a great day.